Hey, what's up guys, it's Masterleaf here, back with another 1.02 Plus video. This will be yet again another video to promote 1.02 Plus, which is going to be a bug fix or a version that fixes the major bugbears with 1.02. Anyways, we have Unleashed UA going with the Steel Talons faction. He probably got it from random as he submitted the replay, and Dirty Dutch, he is playing as random as well in the blue. So a couple of things I forgot to mention in my last video. If you were to download this from gamereplays.org, you would not be able to view it without the patch, so please ensure that you have the patch, the map pack from the description, the link in the description that I'll provide in the video. So yeah, ensure that you have the map pack if you were to view any of these replays. And there probably will be more upcoming replays of this specific version as more and more players in the player base are adopting it as the version to play in 1.1 in this game. I'm getting really modded up here. Anyways, we have Dirty Dutch gone with a Scrin faction, so he did draw R17 from random. Didn't go for any of the Tiv spikes, unlike Unleashed, who I think went with a Tiv spike, as there is a barracks there. Where is the engineer? Which faction did he? Yeah, of course, he got Steel Talon, so he'll have that combat engineer. Not very useful at killing anything at all, but it is there to kill stuff. Maybe a single militant member it would be able to handle, but aside from that, it's not going to do much at all against anything. It's probably got slightly more armor than the other factions, and of course, it can be repaired by the Steel Talon's MRT. Which I have found out lately. Pretty funny that, actually. So yeah, Unleashed capturing his Tiv spike, no bothers there. Uncontested, Dirty Dutch probably afraid of Unleashed. In random, taking the Tiv spikes, Unleashed is pretty greedy in that regard. He usually does take risks, and it does usually pay off for him. Dirty Dutch has mentioned to me that he is afraid of Unleashed going for the Tiv spikes, so he just plays safe. I don't blame him. You don't want the game to be over in a minute. So Unleashed got the one spike here. How is he doing for economy? He's got 3 harvesters. MRT here. Don't know what units are garrisoned within it, but I'm going to assume it's an engineer. Seekers by Dirty Dutch, so I'm not sure why he's making those. Perhaps he feels that Unleashed is going for a rush tactic. He has not scouted Unleashed base, so Dirty Dutch is unaware of anything that's coming. I could just see his fog of war vision here, and yeah, he doesn't know about it. He's sending a gunwalker in though to scout, or you know, formerly it's known as the shard walker, and he will scout everything that's going on here. He'll see the Titan. He'll be like, all right, okay, I'm up against Steel Talons. This will be a pretty easy game for me. But we'll soon see. It was submitted to game replays. That hasn't been wubbed at all, but I'm going to trust that it's a good game and take a risk in vodding it. This version, after all, is fairly new. It's relatively new, and I feel it does deserve some media attention. So yeah, Dirty Dutch Unleashed got this MRT. As you can see, the repair radius of it is much larger than 1.02, so the MRT can repair stuff much more. Because of its radius, it can repair stuff in a further away from it. The Seeker's coming in to intercept it. There is only a rifleman squad in there, so not much of a big deal. Probably was there just to scout that Dirty Dutch has gone with Seekers, and Unleashed can probably respond to this with some Titans maybe, or Wolverines. Wolverines wouldn't be a bad choice either, as the Seekers suffer from a gun damage penalty, which means anything that shoots bullets will penetrate Seeker armor, and that's what makes them such useless units, in my honest opinion. Well, they're not useless. They're good for scouting, but other than that, I generally tend to avoid them because they're pretty pathetic otherwise. Disintegrators are actually better, in my opinion, especially if you're playing Traveller. They're much faster as well. They're much faster and spammable units. But the Tiv spike will be taken out by just a handful of disintegrator squads. Unleashed did have the audacity to go with both of the Tiv spikes against Reaper 17. Dirty Dutch, though, taken out that spike, so he doesn't want to let Unleashed get an incredible economic advantage. Steel Talon's harvesters do harvest slower, so he will be ahead regardless because of that. As you can see there, he's got 4 harvesters on that field and an additional 4 harvesters in this field. Probably could transfer some more to this field here, as he will be depleting that soon. But the MRTs, Unleashed has to micro this as best as he can. The MRT though can repair itself, so it's quite a durable unit when you think about it, especially as this repair drone has been buffed slightly. It moves a little bit faster than 1.02 and it's a bit more responsive. So yeah, they're much better units, much more viable in this specific version. Seekers tried to make their way into Unleashed base, but Unleashed got already sussed that one out, and he's got these watchtowers to hold them off in the meantime. And as you can see, Dirty Dutch, he has no more other targets to shoot at, so he's going to take a shot at the spike. I don't blame him. That's really economic damage as well. And Shard Walkers being spammed by Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch, I think he probably overcommitted on these Shard Walkers. He needs to get more Devour tanks, as Dirty Dutch will probably be, Unleashed will probably be spamming Titans as the counter to that. Unless he has got his tech center up, in which case he could be spamming Mammoth tanks. Mammoth tanks quite rarely seen in this version. But Unleashed really liking these MRTs. They are a lot better. And as you can see, the repair leash just can repair itself, its own unit. Doesn't have to be an allied MRT or vehicle, it can be anything really. Even GDI commandos. But these dev tanks are going to prove to be a big problem for Unleashed. I don't think this is going to be ample firepower to withstand those Devour tanks. Devour tanks obviously much better at destroying vehicles than MRTs and Wolverines. Those units don't really fulfill that specific role in the tech tree in taking out vehicles. But Unleashed just going to hold out for here. He needs to watch his MRTs. Pathfinding in this game can be pretty bad, so you have to babysit some of your units to ensure they don't wander off and do random stuff and get killed, which is a habit of most units in Kane's Wrath. But yeah, there's just so much units here for Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch, he needs his shields. With the shields, he's looking pretty unstoppable. Isn't working on the shields, so I mean, not that it's a big deal anyway, since he's got more than enough here to stop Unleashed's army. Unleashed, what does he have? He's got Mammoth tanks, and remember, the Devour tanks can outrange Mammoths, so Unleashed would have to push forward with his Mammoth tanks in order to engage the Devour tanks, or else he'll just get kited all day, all night. But charging up his Devour tanks to make them super powerful, their rate of fire and damage will be increased substantially. I do believe it's in the percentage, I'm not sure. I'm not even going to bother making a guess in case I'm wrong. But yeah, the Mammoth tanks here, there's just 2 of them. It's not going to be anywhere near enough in order to hold this attack. There are Mammoths with the railguns. The railgun upgrade has been finished, and the station shield just being used on that single Mammoth tank. You probably could have gotten both of them here, but it doesn't matter because there are 2 additional Mammoth tanks here, the 3rd one coming out just at the very second there. And you could activate the railgun accelerator, as it has got a substantially lower cooldown. You could use that right now in conjunction with the MRTs he has, and those Mammoths would be pretty good to go. And Dirty Dutch Unleashed losing his units there unnecessarily, that's not good. But that Mammoth tank is close to dying. Just one more shot from that Devour tank and it's dead. He needs to pull that back. That's a very expensive unit. And as you can see, Unleashed realizing that now. And these Mammoth tanks, they are upgraded with the adaptive armor. They just look so much cooler with that upgrade. And I had CGF tell me that the adaptive armor confers 40% more damage, armor, not damage, while it takes a penalty to its movement speed by about 10% and rate of fire by 25%. I think I recall something like that. Anyways, it's not a big con for such a good armor buff. I'd strongly recommend you research that upgrade and use it whenever your units are under attack, because 25% rate of fire reduction isn't really that much of a big deal. In 1.03 though, the Mammoth tanks do not take a rate of fire penalty, so it's even better in that version. But of course this is 1.02 plus, and that is irrelevant. The Reaper tripods are here for Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch needs to mass more of those as the Mammoth tanks are coming in. There's 4 of them. He does not have the stasis shield. There's an additional 2 here. 3 tripods is not going to be enough, but his expansion is fully established. He needs to spam more tripods, get another War Factory out, get a Hexapod out. Hexapods aren't nerfed in this patch, so he could get one of those and still lame with that. The Reaper 17 though do not have a commando, so he would not be able to teleport his Hexa away if it were in danger, which is always a bad thing for Reaper. Not necessarily bad, as they have other things to make up for it, like the cheap shields. The shields for Reaper 17 are really cheap, $2,000 to be exact. And Scrin, they have to research a $4,000 upgrade in order to get the same benefits. So yeah, the tripods are probably the signature unit for Reaper 17 in the late game, and they do outperform the Mammoth tanks. I think I'm almost positive they do, because the range is super good, the rate of fire is good, and their armor to cannon is pretty good as well. To cannon fire, Mammoth tanks do inflict cannon damage. For those of you who don't know, there are 4 or 5 different types of damage types in this game, and each unit can withstand a certain amount of each type of damage. So some units are more vulnerable to each kind of damage. So tripods, I think they are pretty vulnerable to rocket damage, but they're good against cannons, which isn't very logical. And as you can see, Unleashed got this huge line formation of Mammoth tanks. How often do you see Mammoth tanks like this in a 1v1 game, especially against Reaper? Dirty Dutch needs to get more and more units in order to hold this attack here. And it's just a question of when Unleashed is going to attack. Is he waiting for his Space Command uplink? It wouldn't be a bad idea in building that to get the Shockwave Artillery. That would just absolutely pwn these tripods. He does have the phase though, but the phase does render the tripods unable to shoot back at his opponents while that ability is in use. But as you can see, tripods, he's got 8 tripods. Dirty Dutch Unleashed has 4, 2, so he's got about 10 Mammoth tanks here. He has to be careful, don't waste any of these Mammoth tanks. Unleashed, what are you doing there, buddy? Come on, micro a little bit better. And he has to fight because these tripods have got more range. There's no way that he can hope to retreat from tripods, it's just impossible. So it's either fight or, you know, die. Fight and die would be more preferable. But as you can see, these hammerheads, he has no anti-aircraft, which is surprising. Where did all those Shardwalkers go? I missed how those Shardwalkers went down. But this growth accelerator could be a target for Dirty Dutch, as that is giving him income and also making his fields really fast in regrowing his tib. And as you can see, that tib regrowth thing, he goes down in almost a second. No shard launchers being upgraded for Dirty Dutch. Dirty Dutch has to make a push. He could easily take out those Mammoth tanks. He just needs some anti-air, and the quick anti-air fix would be Mecha Ps. Just get 2 or 3 Mecha Ps, equip them all with disc segments, and you're good to go, as they have a tremendous fire output when it comes to taking out aircraft. I really think they're the best option to go for if you're desperate need of that kind of damage. But Unleashed, what are you doing? I mean, you're not even harassing here, you're just waiting for something. Are you waiting to reinforce with more tanks? You've got 4 tanks there. Maybe he's just holding Dirty Dutch in place so he doesn't go out and attack him, because if he does, then he'll just march in with his Mammoth tanks and destroy all of his tech here. His tech, though, is safe. It is in the back of his base. There is just a lone Titan there. Probably could take out this power plant. Storm Riders are the unit of choice for Dirty Dutch. So Dirty Dutch transitioning into the Storm Riders, not a uncommon tactic for Reaper 17. And it looks like Unleashed was trying to shoot down the Tiberium crystals. That isn't really a bad idea, because that will mean that Dirty Dutch will have less Tiberium to harvest. Unleashed, though, is looking pretty bad on Tib as well. The map is drying up. There only is just a handful of Tib crystals left, except this field here. He can move his MCV forward, which I think he just done there to place base defenses further there. Unleashed would have to be careful, because if these tripods engage the Mammoths, then it's not going to be good for Dirty Dutch, as there are so many tripods. He's probably going to lose all those Mammoth tanks, but where are the additional Mammoth tanks for Dirty Dutch? There are 4, 8, 6, 7 there. I'm not really good at counting. Don't bother trying to do math when you're commentating. just fails. But the shockwave artillery comes in, that's just so devastating. You could use that in conjunction with the railgun accelerator now. And the orbital strike comes in to further support these Mammoth tanks, but it's not going to be enough. It's not going to be enough. All 3 support powers being used for the Talons player, and even with that, the tripods just completely demolished those Mammoth tanks, and that was not good for Unleashed. Unleashed really lost all of his Mammoths there. He does not have enough units to contend with this many tripods, in my opinion. Dirty Dutch could also charge his tripods up with a tip crystal. If you've got more than $10,000 floating, you could charge it from a refinery, if you didn't know. But I'm not sure where that would be viable in a 1v1, maybe in a free-for-all or unlimited blue map. You could charge all your Reaper tripods from a refinery, and it would bug a lot less, especially when you got like 1,000 tripods you need to charge with green Tiberium. Oh yeah, there is another bug fix for Reaper 17. If you get the conversion reserves, which I don't think Unleashed has gone for, or not Unleashed, Dirty Dutch, then you can get additional storage capacity for the conversion beam, which means you can shoot more green lasers. In 1.02 there's a bug which means if you get the conversion reserves and charge your tripod, then it does almost identical damage as just the base attack of the tripod, which isn't really good. It's just one of those inconsistencies of EA when they made the patch for Kane's Wrath. I believe it was not present in 1.01 and 1.00. It's just one of those things that happened. But oh, look at locking down those hammerheads in the stasis shield. That's quite interesting. I didn't know that aircraft could be stuck inside the stasis shield. But the RGA, as you can see, has been activated. It's such a weird effect there. I never saw that before. Look at that. Those Mammoth tanks were such a weird RGA fire animation there. That's really cool. You can tell which Mammoths are affected by that specific support power. And as you can see, Dirty Dutch has been defeated there. Well done to Unleashed, coming out victorious, especially with Steel Talons. Mammoth tanks pretty much owned in that game. Railguns are just amazing. And as I said before, the railgun accelerator has a cooldown of 60 seconds, so it's don't really hesitate to use that ability at all, as it's there. It's meant to help Talons in every situation possible in the late game. It's just a question of getting to the late game as Talons, as their early game and mid game isn't that strong. Their Talons suffer from maneuverability and stuff like that. They aren't really spammable. They don't really contend with Scorp spam, I don't think, and Pred spam alone. They need supporting units. Anyways, Dirty Dutch and Unleashed almost on par with economy. Steel Talon's always behind an eco because of that harvester bug, which means they harvest slower. Dirty Dutch, he was ahead until Unleashed pulled ahead in the end there, because he was able to harvest that field a lot later than Dirty Dutch. And overall, that was a pretty good game to watch. Gave me a chance to talk about the various changes and stuff in the patch here. And yeah, there might be one more video to come. So stay tuned. Yeah, this is going to be a 1.02 plus series, a miniature series of the games that are currently hosted on GameReplays.org. Anyways, if you're interested in the patch, then don't forget to check out the link in the description below for more details. All the patch change list and stuff like that there is hosted on GameReplays.org. So yeah, this is Masterleaf, and if you thought the video was entertaining, then don't forget to like it, and I'll see you next time. Peace out.